r/ask Reddit. What's the silliest reason you've had to stop in the middle of having sex? Wife finished and was waiting for me to finish. Heat of the moment and close to finishing she looks at me and says, "You can do it, buddy." That was the end of it and was like a deflated balloon how fast it went down. Still joke about it, outside of the bedroom of course. I believe in you, pal. Come on, sport. Just a few more thrusts, champ. She left her music on shuffle all, which worked fine, until the Woody Woodpecker theme song came on. Same, except it was Cotton Eye Joe. Could not stop laughing. I could keep going through that, but I'd start doing a jig with my torso, and that would probably get her to break things off. I had a similar situation when we inadvertently rickrolled ourselves. Well, you're having sex so you're clearly no strangers to love, and she put her playlists on shuffle so she knows the rules, and so do you. I've wanted to tell someone about this so badly but I've always been too embarrassed. I've never been great at dirty talking and always feel overwhelmingly awkward whenever I try. But one night we were both a little drunk and I tried to be sexy by saying "punish me." I guess I didn't say it very loudly so I thought I heard him ask back, "Punish you?" So I said yes. And then he proceeds to awkwardly but lightly punch me in the boob. Startled, I asked him what the duck. Turns out he thought I said punch me. We had to stop because I was cackling so much after that. LOL. This one made me laugh the hardest. I can just see the gears in his head working. Okay, weird, but she asked, "Where do I punch that's safe?" Punch is a tit. OMG, I'm laughing so hard at this response because it's so true. I was having a 2-night stand with this girl when right at the point of lust thrusting her parrot unknowingly climbed up on the bed and was next to our heads and screamed, "I just love lasagna." Lust thrusting her parrot. We heard the ice cream truck outside. A valid reason for stopping emo. Running naked after the ice cream truck might get some stares though. My girlfriend loves to play with herself while we're doing doggy style. So I'm used to feeling a hand brush my junk every once in a while during sex. This one time we were getting close to finishing when I felt a little pinch near the part where the tip meets the shaft of the coke. I pulled out and looked and her fingernail snagged the edge of my coke and I was bleeding. A lot. Mostly because I was hard. So I stopped and went to the bathroom. Cleaned it up. Lost my hard on and my girlfriend asked what was up. And after I showed her, she immediately started clipping and filing her nails. We laugh about it now but it was less than entertaining when it happened. Ouch. She was on top going cowgirl when all of a sudden she stops and looks down at me with a concerned look on her face. I immediately asked what was wrong, very much concerned I had hurt her or she had hurt herself. She said I have to fart. So I told her to do it. It vibrated my balls. We couldn't continue because we were laughing too much. I love you guys. My son called, which, in and of itself, isn't really a problem. The problem is that the ringtone set for him first has a toilet flushing, then a weird voice says, "Mommy, mommy, mommy toilet," and ends with a cackling, slightly evil laugh. The sex died in a fit of laughter. Self-inflicted wound. I swear I meant to silence it before. My boyfriend's pet Kokichiel started to sing Happy and You Know It and Wolf Whistle while watching us. Kokichiel knows what's up. I made the noise that was a cross between a moan and the grudge and choking sounds. We were laughing so hard we couldn't go on. Fooling around on the couch and take one of the legs off her pajama pants. We get going more and more into it. I pull the PJ pants off completely and throw them over my shoulder as we continue sexy time. About 15 seconds later I notice shadows are moving weirdly and glance over my shoulder to notice those PJs had landed on a candle and are now on fire. I lunge and grab them and run to the kitchen sink, throw them in and turn the water on, then bust out laughing. The farmer whose field we were parked and showed up and we had to make a run for it. Old man Jenkins just wanted a threesome. I think he just wants the sheep to himself. You know those overlapping fabric gaps in some men's underwear? Like a fly without a zip. So in the heat of the moment I'm kneeling over my mostly naked girlfriend and I decided it would be great to pop it out of the gap in my underwear. Instead of her grabbing my dong as it had panned out in my mind, she damn near pissed herself laughing at my boner sticking out of the middle of these bright yellow briefs I had on. She was laughing so much we couldn't have sex. But we still have a laugh at it whenever we remember, or when I wear the underwear. SpongeBob's nose. That's why it was funny. Source. Had SpongeBob boxers. I have a clapper light and the sound of balls on butt cheek turned the bedside lamp on. We promptly resumed after some hysterics. The guys in the other rooms on my dorm floor clapping and chanting my name. Between the thin walls and the echoing vents, you could hold a conversation with at least a few rooms on either side of you without having to raise your voice, and this girl wasn't a quiet one. I was the first one to bring a girl into the dorms that year, in an all-male building. We only stopped for a minute to laugh and turn some loud music on. I feel as if you missed a bonding experience. You should have started thrusting in time to your name. Was in her bed for the first time. The sides of her bed frame rose up and were on the same level as the bed. Flash to lovemaking. I'm half standing going to town. When I reposition my foot on the covers, turns out that was actually the frame, and I slip, fall off the bed and slam my head on the wall. I didn't get a nut, but I did get a concussion. Well, at least somebody got head, even if it was the wall. Cat jumped on the bed to see what all the commotion was about. My cat will plant himself on the bed and refuse to move. We will shake the bed into oblivion and it just appears to lull him to sleep. Occasionally he will wake up and walk towards us and sit next to our heads and just purr and stare at us. Weirdo. One of our two cats is nicknamed the Creeper, and he does this at the most inappropriate times possible. He likes to just sit and stare like, oh hi, what you doing? When you're eating, when you're pooping, when you're in the shower, whenever. And he's almost completely silent, so he just appears like a horror movie bad guy. And when it's nearly his dinner time and you're watching TV, he likes to sit on the back of the couch leaning over your shoulder so that the next time you turn your head, oh hi, surprise cat face. Inspired by my dog throwing up on the carpet this morning. She's fine. She's disgusted by you guys. My now ex-girlfriend and I were going at it and our pet pot-bellied pig put his nose pretty much in my butt. I jumped due to shock, and our pig, Truffles, got spooked and went to run. He went under my legs and stepped on her inner thigh. Nobody was seriously hurt, but we were pretty shocked and started laughing. Too long didn't read. Interrupting pig ruins night of porking. The inclusion of the pig being named Truffles really makes this story shine in my eyes. Truffles. Get your snout out of there, Truffles. We were both drunk, and in the middle of going at it, I said, I love you, and I love scallops. She was offended. She's never been a fan of shellfish though. If she were a normal person, I think she'd realize how awesome scallops are. Sounds selfish. My wife and I were going doggy style and I kind of swept her legs out, so we were doing it with her on her stomach. She immediately yelled out remove the support to lather witch weighing scene at Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It took us 30 minutes before we started again because we were laughing so hard. A 2-year-old right next to the bed saying mommy really kills the mood. Did you know the 2-year-old? It is my fiance's son. We had been dating for a few months at the time. The best part was the conversation my fiancé had with his dad about her son seeing us wrestling. Wife was pregnant. Baby kicked me in the stomach. She thought it was hilarious. Me not so much. Not sex, but a buddy of mine is pregnant and her cat was asleep on her tummy when the baby kicked the cat in the head. She said she laughed so hard she peed herself. It started to burn. Really bad. Turns out my boyfriend at the time hadn't washed his hands after we had made jalapeno poppers earlier that night. It was an inferno down there. There was an episode of Family Guy where Lois and Peter are having sex and the rest of the family listens to the rhythmic creaking of their bed in fear/disgust. Except for Stewie, who dreams he's on a rocking chair on the porch of a southern plantation. He takes a sip of iced tea and says, "Oh, it's good to have land." Once, my then girlfriend and I were doing it and the bed started squeaking in that exact rhythm. I thought of that scene and for some reason didn't have my mouth brain filter engaged, so I just blurted out, while thrusting in missionary, "Ah, it's good to have land." She then gave me the most confused "what" I've ever heard and we both started laughing so uncontrollably that I lost my erection. Couldn't finish till half an hour later. I forgot that my hot pockets were in the microwave, and they took priority. Sorry babe, I gotta get my tongue on something hotter than you'll ever be, and happy cake day. I couldn't keep going with Forrest Gump going on in the background. I still have yet to finish that movie. Lost my virginity that day though. You're missing out. Great movie. So I've just been dating this girl for a month or so, and we're hooking up at her place. You know how it is with a new relationship. You're always worried about doing something embarrassing. Now we usually just put her iTunes music on shuffle when we're fooling around, but her phone wasn't handy so I'm using mine. Which was a gamble because a good 50% of my music is ridiculous shit I downloaded on a whim. But I was horny and in a hurry so I figured I'd roll the dice. It went fine for a while. Pretty good mix of good sex music. I'm behind her. We're in the middle of things. And then Ray Parker Jr. starts belting out the Ghostbusters theme. She freezes. Doesn't turn around. I freeze too. Already trying to think of a way to play this off without spoiling the mood. Then she snickers, says bustin' makes me feel good, and starts grinding back into me while laughing her ass off. Obviously I married her. Going on 3 years now. Ghostbusters is still in our sex playlist. Well, maybe not the middle. She had just finished going down on me and tried to sexily back up into me when her leg slipped off the bed and face planted onto the floor. Spent the next few minutes dying of laughter, but resumed after. I lived in a 2-story house, which was quite old. It had piped steam heating, and one of the issues was that when the heat came on, the pipes expanded, causing a weird knocking sound, as if someone was walking in high heels. My bedroom was in the lower floor, and the living room and entrance above. One night I had a girl that I had recently met over and it was her first time at my place. It was late. We were getting frisky, then started doing it. She was on top, riding away. I was having a good time, to say the least. Unbeknownst to me, the heat had come on, so suddenly the knocking starts, and she gets this horrified look on her face. Hastily gets up and starts getting dressed. I was so used to the knocking that it didn't even register anymore. So I'm like, what happened? What did I do? And she replied, your wife is here. I heard her walking upstairs. And I'm like, what wife? I live alone. Soon it dawned on me what had happened, and we both had a good laugh. Too long didn't read. Got interrupted by the heat kicking in. 1.5 foot long millipede bug crawled up the wall from underneath the bed, right next to us. I'm sorry, what, 1.5 feet? Where the duck do you live? OP please tell me that's a typo. Duck everything about that. FFEMT. Tones dropped and my pager went off. 3 more quick thrusts. I finished before the dispatch was done, and left my poor wife hot and bothered and unsatisfied. Duty calls. Hun. Captain on the truck turns and gives a sniff as I get in, and just looks at me knowingly. I grinned at him. He gave me a high five. I got a lot of shit about it back at the station, but nothing compared to what I got when I got back home. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a hero. A 2-year-old was asleep so we decided to go at it. After about 10 minutes with me on top I feel this tiny little hand wrap around my big toe. It freaked me out. I died laughing. Couldn't muster after that. The dog comes over and gets a few inches from our face. Hey, guys, what you doing over here? She wouldn't go away so I had to stop and get her occupied by something else. It'd stop too if the dog talked. We were thoroughly enjoying ourselves on the couch downstairs when we began to hear little squeaking noises. I was positioned so that I could see over the couch and realized that my cat was throwing a mouse around in the house. The freak out overcame the power of sex. Unfortunately, we weren't too into watching her play with it till it died, so we took it away and there went the mood. I still wish we could have finished that particular session. Well, we were doing the dirty when I heard rain start falling, which made me remember that I had left the window open in my room, meaning the rain could come through the open window onto my unsuspecting magic card collection on the sill below. So that was the day I stopped having sex to save my magic cards. A rat bit me. He had a pet rat that had free run of the space at the top of his dresser. I grabbed the edge of the dresser in the middle of things, and the rat did not take the intrusion kindly and delivered a sneak attack to my fingertip. blood fountained everywhere, and we had to take a first aid break. When I was dating my ex, we had a BBQ and I made some jalapeno poppers. Well, I did not wash my hands so well before fooling around and needed to get a milk-soaked paper towel for her privates. That killed the mood pretty quickly. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.